Commence primary ignition.
Welcome to Unlimited Power. My name is D-Rod, and thank you for watching one of my pre-release guides for Star Wars Unlimited's new and fourth set, Jump to Lightspeed. Now, Jump to Lightspeed pre-release begins on March 7th, where you're going to be introduced to new cards with new mechanics, new leader actions, new abilities, and new tokens. You're also going to see the growth among factions in Star Wars, like Rebels, Resistance, First Order, and Imperial. If this is your first time watching one of my guides, I'll let you know that we're going to be looking at commons and uncommons within this set that can strengthen the synergy with the leader you choose to play. There are going to be some great rares and legendaries that fit really well with some of these leaders, but the chances of you pulling a rare or legendary that does that is going to be a lot slimmer than your chance of pulling a common or uncommon in your 6 booster packs that can really fill out your deck and the theme you're working for. With that said, let's begin to look at some of these leaders and see what kind of fun we can have on pre-release day. Lando Calrissian is back in Star Wars Unlimited as a leader, and this time he is Vigilance. As a leader, he has the action ability to spend 1 resource to exhaust himself to play a unit from the hand. If you do, and you control a ground unit and a space unit, give a shield token to a unit. Okay. So a couple of conditions here. You have to have units in play, you have to spend 1 resource, and you can only do it essentially once a turn. It's not horrible. It just means it's a little bit of a different strategy, and let's see what we can make work here. Now, Lando does have the epic action that says if you control 7 or more resources, you can deploy him as a ground unit leader where he's a 5/7 with Sentinel, or you can deploy this leader as an upgrade on a friendly vehicle unit without a pilot on it, and that unit now is a +5/+5. The attached unit is now a leader unit. It gains Sentinel, and it says when you deploy this upgrade, you may give a shield token to a unit in a different arena. So Lando's all about like throwing some shields out there, taking damage. This is the selfless Lando we see when he drives the ship he loves so much, into the second Death Star, essentially on a very suicidal assault run. So I like this for Lando. He's 7 cost, so that means you have to do this when you have 7 or more resources, so it's going to take a while. Let's look at some cards I think will work with Lando and his abilities. Now, you're going to want to make sure you're going wide here so that you're playing units in the ground and space arena. Echo Base Engineer I'm going to recommend here because it's a 2-cost ground unit. It's a 2/3 that says when played, you may give a shield token to a damaged vehicle unit. It's not something you're going to play early, but it's a good card to throw out a little bit later for the shields. You need the ground unit anyway, and you're definitely going to take a few hits, right? Paige Tycho is another great one. It's a 2-cost 3/2. So you can play her in the ground arena, or you can use her piloting mechanic, which is what we've already discussed, and you can equip her to a vehicle. The attached unit gains on attack, give an experience token to this unit, then deal 1 damage to it. It also gives it +2/+2. We've already talked about seeing that there's some ways of giving shield to damaged vehicles, so you can see the synergy there, but Vigilance does have a lot of healing mechanics that you'll find within the set. Next is the You're All Clear Kid. Defeat an enemy space unit with 3 or less remaining HP. If you do, and an opponent controls no space units, you may give an experience token to a unit. This card is really good because you're not only being rewarded for clearing the space arena, you are essentially moving forward. You're getting ahead of your opponent because you've killed something, you've made something stronger, and you're probably going to hit for that amount of damage on that same turn. Really good value. Continuing with Vigilance, I'm going to recommend the Cloak Star Viper. It's a 4-cost 3/2 that when it comes into play has shields already placed on it. It gets 2 of them. And the U-Wing Lander. The U-Wing Lander is a space unit that says you can pay 5, and it comes into play as a 2/2 with 3 experience tokens placed on it. When this unit completes an attack, you may attach an upgrade on this unit to another eligible friendly vehicle unit. If you're able to use Lando's ability to get shields on this U-Wing Lander, you can essentially move those shields around, which I think is really neat. In the cunning aspect, you have diversion, the ability to give a unit sentinel for this phase. Why would you want that, you think? Because you're trying to set up a ground unit, and a vehicle unit to trigger Lando's ability going off. So sometimes you may have to use a diversion card to make a low cost unit or a certain unit take all the damage. That way you can ensure you're able to trigger Lando's ability to get shields. Or if you have a shield in play, diversion is a great card to make sure that, again, you're protecting yourself. Opponents are running into a shielded unit because they have to. There's some value here. Rafa Martez is an interesting 3-drop ground unit. That's a 3/3 that when you play her and on attack, she deals 1 damage to a friendly unit and you ready your resource. Again, blue has some healing, it has some shields. You got to go a little bit wide here, so consider Rafa and use her wisely. In the aggression aspect, fight fire with fire. It's a 1-cost event that says choose a friendly unit and an enemy unit in the same arena. If you do, deal 3 damage to each of them. Listen, if the shield stuff is working, this card is just going to ensure you're shooting something for 3 and you're trading a shield for it. I don't think that's going to hurt too bad. Try it out. Let me know. I'm a fan. The Red Squadron Y-Wing, however, is a great low-cost unit to get into play, especially early on, because it's a 1/3 that says on attack you can deal 3 indirect damage to the defending player. Indirect is one of the new mechanics in Jump to Lightspeed that says the defending player now has to assign 3 unpreventable damage among their base and units. So they are forced to make this decision, pulling them out of whatever their next move was in their strategy, because now they have to consider how much damage should go on the base, how much damage should go on a unit, should they lose a unit or not, should they put it on the base. Those kind of questions are going to go through their mind, and I think that's what makes it such a great mechanic, because it just pulls them away a little bit from their own strategy. In the command aspect, you have to play the resupply carrier. Lando costs 7 to get out. The resupply carrier you can play when you have 6 or more resources. It's a 4/5 that says you may put the top card of your deck into play as a resource. This means you can play Lando a turn early if you can play the resupply carrier when you have 6 resources. Next is Bunker Defender. It's a 2/1 with Sentinel if you have a vehicle unit. Yep, that's it. You just need low-cost units and your ground and space arena to trigger some of Lando's abilities. You may have the Sentinel, you may not. You may need the Sentinel, you may not. Either way, you need to make sure you're going wide. Continuing with that strategy, you may need coordinated front. If you're actually going to have units in both arenas, play this card to give your ground units +2/+2 for the phase, and your space units +2 for the phase. This is one of the few cards that really work when you have the arenas filled, so take advantage of it. The Resistance X-Wing is a fine 2-drop space unit. You can pay 2 for a 2/2 X-Wing, and when it has a pilot on it, it gets +1/+1. Low-cost units are your best friend when you're trying to go wide. Just make sure you're looking at cards that also let you draw. And lastly, the retrofitted airspeeder and the flanking Fang Fighter. The airspeeder has the ambush mechanic, so it can swing when it swing when it enters play, and it can attack space units as a 2/6 rather than a 3/6. The flanking Fang Fighter is a 3-cost unit that is a 2/3, and it allows you to if you control another fighter unit, you can have raid 2, allowing you to hit your opponent or your opponent's unit for 4 instead of 2. Since it's such a fighter heavy set, as well as you are playing a lot of low-cost cards, you should be able to get that bonus on the Fang Fighter. So again, Lando presents a lot of interesting situations here. You have shields flying around. You need to have a wide variety of units. You are leading an armada for sure with Lando. Check it out. Let me know if this works for you at your local pre-release. What color did you go? Did you find a rare or legendary that really made this work? I'm curious. I wish you luck at your future event. And thank you again for taking the time to watch one of my videos. Yeah, may the force be with you.